And breathe. Oh my goodness, that match took everything out of me. Like it wasn't meant to be like that because we were cruising to a nice easy victory. We had taken the lead in the second half. Costa Rica weren't doing too much to challenge us. Like it probably should have been 3-1 by the time Costa Rica got that goal, but still we were very much in control and Costa Rica didn't look like they were doing that much. But then they did get that goal and then it did go to penalties and the stress levels, they're going at a nice calm little bit and then whoa, they're all the way up here. Like I was incredibly uneasy going into the shootout because we have Keylor Navas, one of the very greatest goalkeepers in the world. Guy who's won multiple Champions League with Real Madrid, won some very high profile penalty shootouts at World Cups and Champions League final. Like, he's done everything, and even at his age, he's still an incredible goalkeeper. So you have that up against Matt Freese, someone who has a few seasons at NYCFC under his belt, which isn't quite comparable to where Navas has been in his career. But little did I know that Matt Freese is actually the greatest goalkeeper ever. Like, amazing performance there in the shootout. And I talked about Freese a little bit and how he might not have actually been in the squad had Schulte and Steffen not been injured. But he took his chance because those chances do come along sometimes. It's up for you to take them. And tonight, he absolutely did take that. 3 saves, that is massive. Like, that's just incredible, and I gotta give Matt Freese his flowers. That was awesome to see. There was actually I don't know with Matt Freese because I've expressed a little bit of frustration that we haven't gotten to really see what he's made of so far from open play, and I don't know if I should really be complaining about that too much because it's really nice, obviously, when your goalkeeper doesn't have to do much in a game where the opposition takes so few of shots that your goalkeeper's never really tested. But since we haven't really seen Matt Freese playing in the U.S. goal that much, I kind of wanted to see a bit more what he's made of. I was hoping Haiti could give him maybe a little bit more of a challenge when we were already guaranteed group stage progression. I was a bit disappointed with him, and this has happened before I've seen in the group stage. On the Costa Rica goal, the shot comes at him and he saves it. And it was a pretty hard shot, but like I feel like he could have caught that. Like a better goalkeeper might have caught that. And instead it bounced off him back into play, and there Costa Rica can get a goal. And it's not like he was entirely at fault for that goal. The defense definitely could have been better in that Costa Rican goal. But even so, I feel like he could have done a bit more than to just have the ball bounce off him and back into play. Although perhaps that's harder to save than it looks, or at least harder to catch than it looks. But either way, absolute beast in penalties, and he actually went the right way pretty much every single time. So like he just did really well. Like this is one of the all-time performances as far as Gold Cups go for U.S. goalkeepers. I feel like, but overall, I'm still a bit disappointed in how the game went. It's nice to win it in the manner that we did because even though it was incredibly stressful and way more stressful than it needed to be, those do tend to be the most memorable and favorite wins, the ones that do play with your emotions so much to the point that when you finally do win at the end, you're just overjoyed. And right now, I am definitely feeling overjoyed, but I think tomorrow I'm still going to be worried because Guatemala, I think, actually will be a tougher challenge than Costa Rica because Guatemala have been much more solid defensively than Costa Rica have in the tournament. And what I've noticed from the games I've watched of Guatemala is that they don't seem to get too many chances. But when they do get chances, it's not just like they're getting good chances. Like they're getting really, really good chances. Like a few times they've gotten either goals or just like force a great save out of a goalkeeper. But a lot of their chances when they do come have been very high quality, and that does worry me because the U.S. has struggled against low blocks, and if Guatemala does that and they take one chance, and it only takes one chance, we saw that in today's game where we were pretty much on top for most of the start to the second half until that Costa Rica goal. They weren't doing too much, but it was only 2-1, and so they get back into the game because it only takes one goal. It should have been 3-1, I think, and part of that was Navas just making an incredible save on Chris Richards' shot. You can't really do much about that. That's just individual brilliance from Keylor Navas. But I do feel like there are a few chances we could have made a bit more of. or at least done like a little bit better with. Like we had some half chances. I don't think Ajimang had a great game today. He could have shot a little bit better, and there was one moment where he had a clear header on a corner and headed it wide, which I would have liked to see a little bit more from him in that respect. Like I'd want to see a better performance from him, but he's pretty much the only thing we got now that Haji Wright's not there, and Sargent, for whatever reason, wasn't called up to the squad. So Ajimang's what we got, which doesn't fill me with a ton of confidence for Guatemala because he hasn't been, or at least he didn't do that well in the Costa Rica match. But we do still have some goal scorers. I feel a little bit bad for Tillman with missing the penalty, but he did redeem himself in the shootout. I actually think that maybe we should have subbed Tillman out at some point in the game because he was getting destroyed. Like, he took an absolute beating in this game. It felt like every 5 minutes he was either getting fouled or like going in for a challenge really determinedly, and that it's not really a bad thing, but it does mean sometimes you fall really hard. Like one time he landed on his back really hard. Like it just seemed like Tillman got destroyed in this game physically, but he kept getting up and going again. So fair play to him there. But yeah, we got the win. Not incredibly happy with how we got it. I think we could have done better, and I legitimately think Guatemala are going to be the biggest test we've got in the tournament so far. It's been a really fun tournament. I think I'm going to have to make a video about how the quarterfinals went because I did not expect Guatemala and Honduras to win. But I do think Guatemala are going to pose a pretty big challenge. But that is a few days down the road now, so at least for the next little bit, I'm just going to smile and be happy because Matt Freese is an absolute legend, and we have beaten Costa Rica. We're through to the semis. Get in.